I'm 80 years old, and if there's one thing I regret most, it's not the mistakes I made, but the moments I missed because I thought they weren't important. It's not about living longer. It's about living fuller. It's about not wasting the days when I was still healthy, still sharp, and still had someone sitting next to me, someone I hadn't really taken the time to look at yet. There are things I wish I had known earlier, so I wouldn't have lived so temporarily for so long. There were whispers from my body. There were gazes from my loved ones, urging me to stop and listen. There were small joys that came and went, but I missed them because I was too busy running. I'm not telling you this to scare you or to give you advice. I'm sharing this with you as someone who's reached the top of the hill, looking back, wanting to tell you, hey, the middle part of the hill, it's precious. Don't rush through it. Because when you're in your 50s, it means you still have time to choose again. You still have the strength to live differently. You still have the chance to understand what's truly yours, what you should let go of, and what you should hold on to with both hands. In this video, I'll share 5 simple things I wish I had known earlier. None of them are grand or complicated, but each one changed the way I see every day of my life. And at the end, I'll share what made me feel most emotional when I realized it at 80. Something that's not written in any book, but that quietly changes everything. If you're in your 50s, listen as if I'm sitting right in front of you, sending you a silent letter. And if you want to hold on to moments like these, please hit like and subscribe. Not for the video, but so that next time we can meet again. Now let's begin. The first thing I wish I knew earlier. The body is like a journal. Don't wait until the last page to open it and read. Old age doesn't hit like a shock. It arrives like a book you forgot to read until only a few pages are left. Many people in their 50s still think, I'm still healthy, I don't see anything worrying. But in reality, the body doesn't decline suddenly. It declines slowly, step by step. And if you're not paying attention, by the time you realize it, it's often too late to turn things around. At 80, I haven't had a stroke, no cancer, no unexpected disasters. But my back started hurting consistently at 52. My sleep became restless by 55. And I started losing my breath climbing stairs at 57. These things were so small that I brushed them off, thinking it's just the weather or maybe I've overworked myself. Now I understand. Each little ache, each time I felt tired for no reason, was a line in my body's journal. Something I should have read, but I didn't. Science calls these signs preclinical signals. Signals that come before illness shows up. According to the American Geriatric Society, over 60% of chronic diseases show early warning signs 5 to 10 years before they become serious. Dr. Linda, a physician, once said, "The biggest mistake people in middle age make is waiting until the pain is obvious to see a doctor. By then, the body has been speaking for a long time." The price I paid wasn't just for medication. It was for trips I had to cancel. For family gatherings where I sat quietly, unable to fully engage. For mornings when I couldn't even open the door and step out into the sunlight. But it's not too late. In your 50s, you still have enough time to learn how to listen to your body. Regular checkups, gentle daily walks, eating more mindfully, and getting enough sleep. Like it's the first prescription you have ever been given. Don't wait for your body to shout at you. It's whispering every day. In mild fatigue, aches, and poor sleep. You can start listening again, simply by drinking a warm cup of water every morning or taking a 15-minute walk in the evening. Because living healthily is not a matter of luck. It's a habit, starting with gentle attention. But then I realized, it's not just the body that needs care. Relationships need care too. If they're not nurtured, they wither like a plant that isn't watered. Do you remember the last time you called an old, close friend? I don't, and that's what haunts me the most. I used to think, family, friendship, marriage, they'll always be strong if they've been around long enough. Like a big tree, just leave it and it will live. But I was wrong. At 80, I realized that relationships, the ones that matter most, don't stay strong on their own. They need to be nurtured with time, attention, and a few simple words of checking in. Without that care, they'll dry up and fade away. I was busy, so busy, leaving early, coming home late, always saying, "Next time." There were messages from loved ones that I read but never replied to. I thought, I'll get back to it when we meet. But when my mother passed away, I went back through those unread messages. If you're in your 50s, take a moment. Don't wait. The middle part of the hill is precious. It's not just about living longer, but living fully. Her last message simply said, "Mom is fine. Remember to take care of yourself while working." I didn't know, that would be the last time I'd hear from her. This is what science calls connection neglect. Unintentionally neglecting a relationship, not out of hatred, but because you think there's always time. A study from Harvard, lasting over 75 years, found that positive relationships are the #1 factor in living longer and healthier, even more important than diet or genetics. Psychologist Robert once said something that really stuck with me. Some people don't die from illness, but from being forgotten. If you're in your 50s, you still have time to pick up the phone, share a meal, take a short trip, or simply listen as someone talks about something small you thought didn't matter. Love doesn't require grand gestures. It just needs to be nurtured, a little each day, like a plant that needs water, not a whole bucket, but just a few drops consistently. Because in the end, you won't remember how many extra hours you worked that day, but you will remember who you didn't get to hold on to. And then, one day, when you've lived long enough, you'll realize it's not just the people who've left that you regret. You'll also regret the days you lived without joy, because each joyless day is, in the truest sense, a day of dying. Have you ever gone through an entire week without laughing? I've been there. Every day, I go to work, eat alone, turn off the lights early, not remembering anything that made me feel lighter. But when I reached the age of 80, I realized something important. Every day I didn't feel happy, every day I didn't feel lighthearted, was a day I was taken away without even realizing it. Joy doesn't have to be big, it just needs to be real. A song that brings back memories, a meal shared without rushing, a simple "Are you okay?" from someone who hasn't forgotten you. But I know life gets busy in your 50s. I've been there too. And because of that busyness, I neglected those little vitamins for the soul that we need every day. Neuroscientific research shows that small positive emotions, if repeated regularly, can actually change the structure of your brain, boost immunity, and slow aging. Dr. Barbara Fredrickson calls these micro moments of joy, little repeated moments of happiness that can completely transform your life. You don't have to do something huge. Just ask yourself one simple question every night. Did I laugh today? If the answer is no, then tomorrow do something different. Living without joy is living in decay. Joy doesn't wait for you to find free time. It comes when you choose to hold on to a little light, even on days when there's 1,000 reasons not to. If you're still watching and find these insights helpful, please comment the number 3 below to let me know. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I suggest you follow and turn on the bell so you don't miss any new videos. Your support helps us continue creating valuable, inspiring content. One more thing, even if you try to choose joy every day, there's something that can still weigh you down from within. It's heavy, lingering, like a stone lodged in your chest. That is anger. Anger is what slowly drains your life force bit by bit. You can only truly escape it when you choose to forgive. Because as they say, forgiveness is the gift you give yourself. Do you remember the last time you were angry with someone? Was it a week ago, a month ago, 10 years ago? I once held on to anger for almost 20 years. Never spoke about it, never mentioned it, but it was always there like a small stone stuck in my coat pocket, growing heavier with time. The other person might have forgotten, but I hadn't. I carried that anger through countless meetings, sleepless nights, and missed chances to live more lightly, simply because I wouldn't let go. I used to think forgiveness meant letting the other person off the hook, but then I realized forgiveness is about opening the door so you can walk out of that suffocating room. I once heard a wise person say, "Those who hold on to anger burn their own hearts." At the time, I didn't understand. It wasn't until I turned 70, sitting quietly during a checkup, when the doctor asked, "Do you often worry about past issues? Why is your blood pressure rising and your sleep so restless?" That's when I finally understood. Psychosomatic medicine calls this a form of silent stress. Long-term anger raises cortisol levels, the hormone that makes your heart race, your blood pressure rise, your sleep restless, and your memory fade. But the greatest pain is not in the body, it's in the mind, when we keep replaying the same old story. I wish I had learned this sooner. Forgiveness doesn't require an apology from the other person. Forgiveness only requires that we realize it's time to set ourselves free. If you're in your 50s and still carrying grudges, misunderstandings, or hurt, maybe it's time to let go a little. Not because the other person deserves it, but because you deserve peace. The lighter your heart, the wider your life. And as you get older, the most precious thing you have is the space in your mind to breathe without feeling choked. But there's one thing that once suffocated me more than all the anger I let go of and all the losses I accepted. It was the realization that for so many years I had been living someone else's script. This is the last thing I realized. Don't turn your life into someone else's draft. How many times have you said yes when deep down you wanted to say no? Those small moments of compromise, how far have they pulled you away from who you really are? I spent a large part of my life according to others' wishes. I chose a career because someone told me it was the safe choice. I lived in a place because someone thought it made sense. I stayed quiet because I didn't want to make a fuss. And bit by bit, I let someone else take the pen and write my story. It wasn't until my hair turned gray, my steps slowed, and the days started to feel fewer that I realized I had never lived a single day that was truly mine. I don't blame anyone. I'm the one who allowed it to happen. You might be living a proper life, but deep inside, is it really yours? Are you sure the life you're living is truly your own? Or is it just a draft written by someone else? Behavioral psychology research shows that people who live by the book, according to societal expectations, are more likely to struggle with mild depression in middle age. They enter a hollow state, neither sad nor happy, just disconnected from themselves. They don't know what they enjoy or why they do the things they do. They're just going through the motions, as if playing a role, trying to get it all over with. Dr. Gabor Mate, a renowned expert on psychological trauma, once said something that sent chills down my spine. The cost of being liked by others is sometimes losing yourself. If you're in your 50s, don't wait until your health, energy, or time run out before you start living authentically. Ask yourself, if no one judged me, what would I do today? Living authentically doesn't mean being selfish. It means being true to your own life. Because if you keep living someone else's draft, you'll never have the chance to become your final true version. You just skimmed through 80 years of my life in less than 15 minutes. Nothing new, nothing unusual. But here are the 5 things I regret the most because I didn't understand them sooner. You might be 50, 55, or 60, still healthy, still capable of another 10 years. You're still able to shrug off a sore shoulder, skip a meal with your partner, or ignore a call from your mom. But I hope after watching this, you'll stop. Even if it's just for half a step, stop. Listen to what your body is telling you. Ask yourself, have I truly been happy today? Call someone you haven't said I love you to in a long time. And remember, your life is yours, not a copy of anyone else's. We can't go back to the past, but we can slow it down with a good night's sleep, a joyful meal, an act of forgiveness, or a morning without haste. It's the little things that make a life worth living, a life without regrets. If this video made you think of someone, share it with them. Who knows, someone out there might need this gentle reminder, just like you did today. And if you've watched this far, I'd really like to know, what did you learn? Where will you begin tomorrow morning? Leave a comment below, because what you share might be the very reason someone else finds the strength to keep going. Thank you for sitting with me today. I hope to meet you again in another intimate conversation. Living is something we need to learn every day, and learning early makes life lighter.